Good morning. Our hand today is going to be King Queen from the cutoff. So in this hand, mid position player raises 2.2. I call, and then small blind calls, and we take the flop. So villain 4 here. He's playing 2013 from mid position. He's played 12% of hands. I raise first ins 12%. So out of the 6 hands that he played, 4 of them were raises. He called the other. Called 3-bet with 2. Actually, no, raise with previous slumpers. So raised basically all the hands that he played. So I think he's going to be pretty tight, but not like queens plus ace king. He's got other hands to get up to that 12%. So, what types of hands is he looking at? Well, that's like 12%. It's probably fair to do something like this. Give him some of the big broadways. I think if you add all of the suited aces in, it's going to be too much. I kind of thought this ace 8, ace 9, maybe he has them. If he doesn't, maybe he adds like these ace 4, ace 5 instead. I added suited connectors down to 7-6. Maybe he doesn't have those and instead adds something like these. So there's a lot of leeway in how we play it. I think I'm going to go with something like this. It's like 12.4%. And then on me, I have calling range, something like this. I did think about raising here. If he doesn't have a fold to 3-bet, 0 out of 2. I do think with this 12%, I'm probably ahead of quite a bit of his range with my king queen. So like I'm kind of near the top of my range. If I raise, I think he's going to be folding a lot of these hands and really only call with like much better hands. That's my impression anyways. So I thought I'd just go ahead and take, call and see the flop. And then small blind came along, but you'll see he folds out. So the flop comes 10 high. Checks the villain 4 and he checks, and I considered betting here with backdoor club and gut shot, but with this third player in and the fact that this is 9-10, I know that this should have hit my range, but I think it could also hit villain 4 range. I think the standard play is for villain 4 for that lead to check here, like check call. So I don't feel like I have much reason to bet and expect to get a lot of folds. So I checked behind. 8 of clubs came out. Now villain 4 bets 5.7. I think this is a really good card because now I have club draw and I have the gut shot. So I raised here to 18. Villain 4 called. 5 completely misses. He checks. I think, I think Jack Queen could be doing this. I think 10-9, two pair, kind of slow playing it. I don't think diamonds. I think diamonds could have raised on the flop. So I think I kind of discount my diamond flush. But I went ahead and fired half pot bet and he calls. So we see the showdown. So I'm curious about that flop and turn decision. And again, we'll have to be a little bit careful interpreting that flop decision because it's GTO assumes that we're heads up. Whereas in this actual hand, it was a 3-way pot. So villain is checking. I think he should be checking, and then it's on me. And the question is, what do I do? Whoops, he checks here. So it looks like I'm kind of half betting, half checking. Just kind of completely mixed. Sometimes I'm betting, sometimes I'm checking, and even with king queen. So with king queen of diamonds, I could probably favor some betting. With king queen clubs, I could probably favor some betting. I think with that third player in there, it probably leans more towards checking. But I don't know. That's my opinion. So right now, it kind of looks like I could have gone either way, betting or checking. We'll run both. We'll see what both suggest. So I checked, and now villain bets 5.7. So what is he betting with? He's betting with some of these cards now. He should be betting see here, straights, trip nines, trip tens, straight, gut shots, king queen, gut shot with flush draw. So I think he should be betting at a much lower frequency than what I think he probably is. So maybe he's betting a lot more. But in any case, he bet. Now it's on my decision. What do we do? So I think here's where we see I could raise, I could check. Probably the safer play is just to call here. I didn't do that. I actually raised. And here's the thing. I think you could raise with tens. You could raise with two pair. You can raise with queen jack. So I do believe we have some of these hands in our range, and then you use these king queen king jack hands to basically to offset it. So I raised, and then villain calls, and then villain checks, and now what do we do? Now it looks like we do continue with our bet. So it kind of looks like that I am on track with how I played. It's definitely part of the GTO. It's part of the mixed strategy. Do we need to worry about this? Does villain play mixed GTO strategy? I don't know. It's kind of an unknown. But at least one of our lines was okay. So we bet, and then you do think he's going to be folding all of these hands, which is what we want. The ace king, ace jack, ace 10 hands, and he should only be calling like straights and like tens. And of course, if he raises, I think I just have to fold. So far this looks okay. Let's do the other way. So he checks, and let's say I bet. Villain's gonna raise tens, 10-9. He's gonna call with various hands. So let's say he calls. He checks to us. We can still bet. I do think that 8 improves our hand, so I think we tend to favor betting with those clubs. We still would bet with trip 10s, with 10-9, jack 10, so we can still stay aggressive. If we check and villain leads into us, we're calling with like 10-9, 9-8. So with two pair sets, some top pairs getting raised, some of the straights were getting raised, but with our hand, with our king queen, I think we're just gonna fold. So I think that's probably what I would have done. But here we could also bet, and I would probably bet here. If I bet the flop, I'm probably betting the turn because I improved. Now I've picked up more outs with the equity, so I bet. And then villain's gonna raise with various hands. So let's start with his raise. Let's see if he raises, then yeah, I'm gonna be forced to call. And then if he bets, 42, I miss. I'm folding. Okay. If he just calls, and if he checks to us, then we're still gonna be betting. What's kind of interesting is that diamonds doesn't bet. So I think diamonds doesn't bet because we block the diamond draws, and it's going to be less likely that he himself has a flush. Whereas if we got the club, spades, or hearts, we can continue betting because we didn't block the diamonds, and we're hoping that since he just check called, that he was on that diamond draw and just completely missed. So we're gonna play aggressive and try to get him to fold. All right, so what did he have? He had 7-6 of hearts, had the straight. So I think the thing that works is that if we look at his play, he checks, that's fine. We check behind. He now bets. He could bet that. That's definitely could be in his mix. So he bets. I raise, and then he made the correct call here. And then he checks, which again is correct call. And I fired out that bet. And now with 7-6, yeah, he's supposed to call. So, is there anything wrong with his play? No. Is there anything wrong with my play? Now there's the line for GTO. We could have taken a different line, and maybe if we bet that flop, he just folds that 7-6 of hearts. So if he folds that 7-6 of hearts, hey, that's great. We just pick up the pot. And again, when we look at it, it's about 50-50. 50 for, I mean, you can see 50% bets. Is that right? To here, now 43%, 56, 43, 57. But with the king queen, we're definitely more than 50% for our betting. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, look tomorrow for another.